Most people think Canada just made a political move. That's not what this is. Canada just adjusted how much risk it's willing to take in the global economy. This week, Canada lowered tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, allowing about 49,000 cars into the country at a tariff of just over 6%. In response, China began reopening its market to Canadian farm exports like canola, which had previously faced tariffs as high as 85%. China also announced visa-free travel for Canadians. At first glance, this looks like a shift toward China. In reality, it's about something much more basic. Uncertainty has become expensive. For years, global trade worked because rules were predictable. Tariffs were used for economic reasons, negotiated slowly and applied in limited ways. That world is changing. Today, trade barriers can appear suddenly, for reasons that have nothing to do with trade itself. When that happens, relying too heavily on any single partner becomes risky. Canada is responding to that reality. From a simple economic point of view, Canada faced a problem. The United States is still Canada's biggest trading partner, but policy swings have become harder to predict. And in markets, unpredictability raises costs. So Canada is doing what investors do when risk rises. It's spreading its exposure. Lower EV tariffs increase competition and help keep car prices down. Reopening farm exports helps stabilize income for Canadian farmers. Visa-free access into China supports tourism, education, and business travel. This isn't about ideology, it's about reducing downside risk. Now, let's talk about the Arctic. Not politics, but economics. For a long time, Arctic access was seen as a future advantage. As ice melts, shipping routes like the Northwest Passage shorten travel between Asia, Europe, and North America. Shorter routes mean lower fuel costs, faster deliveries, and less money tied up while goods are in transit. That sounds like a win, but here's the problem. When an asset becomes important, it also becomes contested. Once major supply chains depend on a route, that route attracts pressure from larger powers. For smaller countries, what used to be an advantage can quickly become a vulnerability. That's the shift Canada is watching. If access to Arctic routes can be challenged or redefined unpredictably, shipping costs become unstable. And when shipping costs rise or swing, everything else follows. Factories see thinner margins. Companies hold more inventory. Investment decisions get delayed. These costs don't stay in the Arctic. They show up in prices everywhere. Canada understands that having something valuable also means having something exposed. So the strategy changes. Instead of depending on one market, Canada spreads its risk. Instead of assuming stability, it plans for volatility. Instead of choosing sides, it builds options. That's what Prime Minister Mark Carney means when he talks about dealing with the world as it actually is. The old system, where being a close partner guaranteed safety, doesn't work the same way anymore. In today's economy, size creates leverage. Leverage creates uncertainty, and uncertainty forces smaller countries to adapt. Canada isn't betting on China. It's protecting itself from relying too much on any one country. Because when important assets turn into pressure points, safety comes from flexibility. That's the real signal. This is Global Notes by JP. If you found this helpful, comment, like, share, and hit the bell. We're building the strongest macro community on the platform, one signal at a time, together.